Welcome back to another episode of City Skylines on Turner Mountain. In the last episode we actually built this beautiful looking riverside village, and as you can see it just looks freaking gorgeous. This is also the entrance, or one of the entrances to the national park we're gonna build in this episode. One thing that I forgot to mention, and one thing what I forgot to build in the last episode, is actually the road towards the actual world, outside world I should say. So over here we got ourselves a nice little tunnel entrance, and it goes all the way over until this highway over here. So as you can see, we've got a national road as some sort of an overpass going over the highway, and you can see lots and lots of cars are actually using it, so that's a good sign. So what I want to do today is actually start off with building the national park, and like I said, parts of it. So it's gonna involve lots and lots of terraforming, and I'm gonna do it partially off screen because I'm gonna remove a lots and lots of mountains, and that's really boring to watch. So after that, when I've got a nice little area, or a nice little flat area, I can actually start working on the episode and also start working on a time lapse. So I'll see you guys after that. I'm back, and this is actually how it looks like right now. It took me a couple of hours to get this right, but what I've done, I have actually teared down lots and lots of mountains over here and made a flat spot in the middle of the mountains where our national park is gonna be, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. So as you can see, we got a great amount of area to work with, and also we got lots and lots of slopes on the mountains where we can work with. Yeah, they're all covered in bushes right now, or in trees. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty nicely. So one thing what I need to show you guys is I've got carried away while tearing down a couple of mountains, and actually I started building on the first entrance of the national park, and this is actually how it looks like. I think it turned out pretty nicely. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a toll booth area where people need to pay a ticket to get into the national park, and I think it turned out pretty nicely. So this area where the toll booth is sitting on is actually a 4-lane highway, and on the other way they're like on and off ramps, and then we got like our national road back again. So people who enter or want to enter the national park, they actually exit this tunnel, and they actually need to stay in line, and they can actually avoid getting to get into the national park, if that makes sense. They can actually turn over here, but otherwise they need to pay a ticket. Everything is fenced off, so people who didn't pay, they don't get into the national park, and overall I think it turned out pretty nicely. One thing what I've also added, if you are in a national park and you want to leave, this is like your final stop area. So as you can see, we've got a couple of parking spots, lots and lots of greenery, bushes, trees, all the kinds of good stuff. And what I also have done is actually some sort of a housing area for like the officers who work at the toll booth. And there's also a grill booth where people on this parking spot can actually get a little snack. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty nicely. What I want to do right now is actually start off with building or continuing the road and start building up the national park. So I'm gonna do that via time lapse, and I'll see you guys after that. Hello and welcome back to another time-lapse commentary. So there are a couple of things I want to talk about in this time-lapse commentary, but first of all I want to thank Overlord for suggesting the Sharp Junctions mod. It really helped me out a couple of times in this episode, so thank you very much for that suggestion. And guys, if you have any suggestions, just leave them in the comments down below, and yeah, I will try and see what I can do with it. Secondly, what I want to talk about is that the national park itself won't be completed in this episode because it will take lots and lots of time, and also I'm not gonna complete it in the next episode because I want to go back to the city. Yeah, the last few episodes we actually have spent quite a lot of time on the countryside of Turner Mountain, so what I want to do is actually go back to the city and do some crazy stuff over there. So what's probably gonna be happening is next episode I'm gonna spend like an entire episode inside of the city. After that we're gonna go back to the national park. It's gonna be like a back and forth for like maybe 4 episodes in a row. So I'm gonna be working on the national park quite a bit, and I'm also gonna be working on the city quite a bit because the city itself, I want to renovate a lot of it. But what I want to change is like the downtown area of the city itself. So with like the high rise, with like the offices and stuff, and maybe even like a little bit of the highway layout. So basically there are the plans for the upcoming episodes. I'm gonna be working on the city as well as on the national park. So guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this small commentary. So right now I'm gonna play some music. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys after the time lapse is done. And we are back. So guys, if you guys enjoyed the time lapse, and what we got going on is our first campsite at the national park with, of course, a little shopping center on the other side of the road. So I think it turned out pretty nicely. As you can see, lots and lots of greenery, and actually let's get started with the shopping center over here. So also, let me get out of this view, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see it that nice. So what we got going on is we've got a supermarket over here. We've got like a gas station and a pit stop. And a gas station and a pit stop supposed to be one building. Yeah, so I used the moving mod for that. And also what I use the moving mod for is this parking side over here. So this parking area. And I think the moving mod with the new update is crazy. What you can do is you can actually just yeah, select something and you can copy it. So I actually copied like these curbs over here with like the pine trees and like the flower bushes and stuff, and I copy it to the other side. So I think it turned out pretty nicely. One thing what I also have done, and that's off-road, but off camera, is I build a couple of off-road roads over here. You can see one actually goes over this tunnel and it will actually connect through here. So yeah, that's pretty nice. So let's move on to the campsite. So the campsite itself is of course on like this national road. This is going to be the biggest campsite of the national park. And overall what we got going on are two roads with like two roundabouts. We got one over at this side and then we got one over at this side. They're pretty much the same. One roundabout doesn't have like the fire pit and the campfire and stuff, and the other one does. And then over on the other side of the lake we also got like a small little campsite over here. These are like the only two campsites, or maybe like one more. It's gonna be in a national park, and otherwise we're gonna have like yeah, some smaller campsites. What's not actually campsite, but like people setting up their tents because they find it a beautiful spot. So yeah, let's actually go to like the biggest campsite. So first of all, what we got is one roundabout with like the fire pit, and what we got going on are a little bit of stands over here. We got like one tile stands and we got like two tile stands, and they're all marked off with like these little wooden poles over here. As you can see, those two wooden poles will mark off the two tile stands, and the one wooden pole will mark off the one tile stand over here. And as you can see, the one tile stands people are using to get like campsites, or not campsite, but they're using like caravans and tents on that. And like on the two tile stands, they're actually using the RVs and the heavier and the bigger camping equipment. For example, like two RVs could be a possibility. So what I also have done, and I think that's really nice, as you can see with the RVs over here, I placed like a couple of event tents above them, just to give that a little bit of a shelter area. I think it turned out pretty nicely. And as you can see, we even got like a couple of like benches underneath the shelter, or underneath the party tent. And yeah, that amount of detail I really went for. The same goes over here with the caravans. I actually used the same party tent, but still, it will look that nice. And as you can see, like with the white party tent, it will actually make this area come alive as well, because the white will actually go really well with like the white of the caravan. So yeah, I really like that. One thing what we also got going on are lots and lots of vegetation, but not that much over at this campsite. As you can see, it's a little bit lush. It's not, we don't got that packed feeling like that you are in a jungle. And we got like a little bit more of greenery and vegetation over at the other campsite. So on both sides of the campsite we got two broken down piers, as you can see. I think they turned out pretty nicely with a little bit of vegetation and greenery and tall grass. And both of the broken down piers are connected up with a gravel path to the campsite itself. And as you can see, we have actually placed like a couple of prop people, and this makes this area feel alive. With like those prop people, yeah, this area comes alive, and I really like it. But also I've placed down are a couple of like yeah, boats. At least those boats are actually are floating on top of the water, so that's really nice. I like that, and it just makes this area feel alive. Let's move on to the second campsite of the national park, and as you can see, it's a little bit smaller because of the fact that we only got like one road and one roundabout. I think the stands are basically the same. The same goes for over here. We got like a couple of one tile stands, and of course a couple of like two tile stands. But what's different over here is there are more trees and more vegetation in general. You don't have a clear line of sight onto the lake from your stand basically. And I think over here at this bigger campsite you actually got a really nice line of sight at the lake. So that's basically one thing that's different. And what's also different are like the amount of detail I try to put in over here as well. So what we got over here are like a couple of Starbucks parasols over here. As you can see, I placed like 3 of them, and they're actually like the Starbucks parasols, but they go really well on this campsite because they're actually the same height, and they go really well with each other. I think it looks pretty nice. That's one thing I really like. You can actually use like different types of asset, for example Starbucks parasols, and you can just place them on side of a campsite, and they still look really nice. I really like that about this game. The same goes for over here, lots and lots of details, I said many times. But one thing what I also have added in are a couple of broken trees. I already talked about that. But yeah, lots and lots of broken down trees and dead trees as well, because people don't remove them, and yeah, because this is actually a national park. And overall, I think this campsite turned out pretty nicely as well. We got like a little bit of a garbage collection over here, so at every campsite there's a little garbage collection just in case people want to throw stuff away. The same goes for over at this bigger campsite. We got like a little garbage collection area over here. And yeah, let's move on to like the entrances. So in the national park we got two entrances. We got like the south entrance over here, and we got like the north entrance over here as well. And I am debating on building another entrance, but I'm not sure yet, so I will let you guys know in the next episode or the episode after that. But let's move on to the south entrance of the national park. This is the south entrance of the national park, and as you can see, it is pretty much the same as the north entrance, but there are a couple of different features I actually want to show you. But first of all, the entire entrances are both fenced off. As you can see, we've got like an entire industrial fence over here, and people won't get in unless they pay. So yeah, that's a good thing. And one thing that's different is like this national park sign. I actually placed them on the side of the ticket booth, or next to the ticket booth area, and on the north entrance it's actually not there. On the north entrance, what's also not there is this cannon statue. I think this cannon statue is really nice. It just makes this area come a little bit alive, and it's also yeah, fills in this entire spot over here. We got a cop with like a police car. The same goes for over at this side as well. We got a cop with a police car. So yeah, that's pretty nice. A little bit of variation to the south entrance than the north entrance, so that's good. And yeah, lots and lots of greenery. Once again, the same goes for the north entrance as well. One thing that's different from the north entrance is we got a really nice police station over here. This is the rural police station. As you can see, it's really small, and I really like it because I can use it in this national park, because I don't like the high-rise police stations in like inside national parks. So I'm actually gonna use this quite a lot in this national park. But this one is close to the south entrance of the national park. And what we got going on is lots and lots of detail in this really small space. So yeah, let's take a look. So first of all, what we got is this backside of the police station. We got like a little parking spots for the police cars. And yeah, two are missing because two are over at this entrance. So yeah, it's really nice. What we also got going on are this retractable or retract bollards. And as you can see, they actually go down when cars approaching, and they go up again when cars aren't there. Unfortunately, like this prop is like they're always sticking out like this, but it's just a really nice detail to add. And one thing we also got is this road. This goes all the way to the back to like this parking space. And as you can see, in a little bit, cars are supposed to get underneath there, so there's like a little bit of room for them to actually drive underneath there. So yeah, that's pretty nice. What I also have placed in this safe zone where cars aren't supposed to be, and I actually yeah, fenced it off with like those with like a couple of flowers. Yeah, we got like a couple of police officers and a couple of people just to make this area come alive. So what I want to do right now is actually go to the radio station, because we don't have a radio station in our national park. So I want to start building one. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. So let's get started on building the radio tower. I already carved out a road over here, and you can see it's gonna turn lots and lots of times, and it looks pretty nice. They're gonna go up the hill, and I think it's gonna be really awesome when I'm done with it, decorating and stuff. But let's move on to building the radio station itself. So the radio station is gonna consist of like the old military barracks over here, and I want to yeah, place it as close to the road as possible. Maybe gonna move it a little bit closer, or gonna turn it a little bit. Yeah, something like that. That's okay. And what I've downloaded a radio mast over here. So as you can see, it's a large radio mast, and I'm just gonna place it over here. So that will look pretty nice. Maybe what I could do is place it a little bit closer to like the yeah, to like this building over here, and we're also gonna remove a couple of trees, or at least we're gonna clear them out a little bit. So right now the radio tower is done. One thing what I should add in though are lots and lots of decorations, maybe like a couple of fences to fence it off a bit. So right now we're gonna use a couple of fences. I'm gonna go for these fences over here, the palisade fences, and I'm just gonna place them over here. So hopefully as close to the concrete as possible. And we're just gonna use the move it mod to make sure everything is aligned properly. So we're just gonna place it over here, and maybe we're gonna also use this and place it a little bit closer to the road. And we're also gonna copy it, and I really like that about the new feature of the move it mod. You can actually just copy and paste stuff. I am back, and what I have done, I actually have decorated the entire road up to the radio station over here. As you can see, lots and lots of flowers, trees, bushes and other greenery. But occasionally what I also have placed are like these little small campsites, and I think they turned out pretty nicely. So what we got going on are like 3 tents and a little campfire over here. This one is actually a little bit heavier, like on the fire wise, than on the campsite itself. I showed you a little bit earlier. And what I want to do is actually place a little bit more of them on camera, so that's something I'm gonna do right now. So this is actually like the road what we have. Like we got like some wooden fences over here and lots of greenery behind that as well. But I actually need to scout out a location where I can build like a couple of those campsites, and I was thinking somewhere over at this side. So I'm gonna move this tree probably over here, and we're gonna make this area into a flat area so I can actually start working on a little campsite. So first of all, we're gonna just flatten this out a bit, and yeah, we should be fine. So we're just gonna flatten this out. I actually need to have the proper height, so that's the thing. And I think we even got like we got already enough room. So what I like to do is use like these gravel paths over here, and actually that's what I'm gonna use. So we just need like something like this, and then we need like a small roundabout. And they were basically set already. So this is gonna be like one of the areas where people can stay. I'm just gonna use the surface painter to fill this in a bit. Maybe gonna change the size a little bit, and we should be fine. So first of all, we're gonna go for a tent, and after that we built like a little campfire. So we're gonna go for like we can actually go like for all 3D colors, like green, red and white. Unfortunately, there's no blue, or is this a blue color? No, it's green. It's really hard to see without like getting the acid into the sun. The shade makes it a little bit harder. So what I'm also looking for is a jeep, probably because how did they get there? Probably via a car. So we're gonna place like a jeep over here, and maybe like a party tent as well. So we're gonna go for another tent, like this party tent, what they used to cook on. So yeah, that's pretty nice. And what we also need is, of course, a bench where they can sit on. And that's not how you spell bench. I think we're gonna go for like this small bench. Or we can actually maybe have like a prisoner bench. Or no, this is a bench. This is a bench lift. Okay, never mind. We're gonna go for like this one. I think we can actually place it underneath this party tent, just to keep them nice and dry. And what I need to do right now is actually use a little bit of vegetation, for example, trees and stuff and flowers. So we're gonna go for a little bit of grass. Not that much, because I just want to keep this, just a little bit of grass, like something like this, and we should be fine. And then of course a little bit of color differentiation. Yeah, something like this. And of course we need some tall grass clusters to make this feel a little bit isolated. And then we're gonna go on into town with like these small firs. I really like these trees. I don't know why, but they're a lot smaller than the normal trees. So maybe that's why I like them. Just a little bit more of these trees that doesn't do any harm. We're gonna go for some ground vegetation, maybe even close by to the tents as well. And some normal bushes, just to make this area a little bit isolated. So that's basically what I would go for, like a little bit of an isolation area, so where people can set up their camps. Maybe a couple more bushes over here. Some tall grass. That always works. Maybe like a big pine tree. Oh yeah, that actually looks pretty nice. I like it. Maybe we can actually do like one of those big, what are they called, Siberian pine trees. I need a smaller one. Yeah, this one actually fits the theme. That's good. And we're gonna go for one living oak, probably. We can actually place it close to here. We're gonna move this Siberian pine tree a little bit back. And we should be fine. So one thing what I need to place right now is some sort of a campfire. Of course, we're gonna place it. Yeah, of course we're gonna place a campfire. Otherwise, yeah, it's not a campsite. So we're gonna place a campfire over here, and we just need a little bit of wood, so it will actually burn. And we're gonna go for, I was thinking for a small, do we have like a small asset that's like, oh, a woodcutter pile. That's probably not it, that's probably not something I'm searching for. But we can use like this woodcutter pile for like fueling that fire. So that's good. We're gonna go for a couple of planks then. So we can place like a couple of planks over here, and of course a couple of stones, just to make this a little bit nicer to look at. So maybe like a couple of cobblestone over here, like low density cobblestone always works. I think that will actually make this area look a little bit nicer as well. What we need is actually a couple of like bigger stones, like on these on this tab. Maybe a couple of dead trees also look pretty nice. Maybe have on the road as well, like close to the tents. Maybe one over here. Yeah, that looks nice. And of course we need a couple of small black rocks. And then we should be fine. So then we got like one campsite all the way finished. It's really annoying that you cannot select which which stone you want, or like which height you want them. So yeah, there should be a mod for that. Hopefully people will actually pick up on that and make like a mod where you can select the height or like the type of the tree or of the stone. That would be awesome. I would actually download that. So guys, this entire thing is done and it looks pretty nice. I like it. So guys, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care and goodbye.